you are the first black stand-up comedian today.
Great.
So that's an honor. Diversity-wise, we are very good.
Great for me.
Oscar so white. Your name is Edgar Yves.
Yes.
And your last name is
Monu.
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 Monou.
Okay.
But I only use my my first name on stage.
Because that's more white.
No, just because my father is a politician, and I want to separate everything. So it seems to me that it was better that way.
I heard some of your material, and
Yeah.
it's
I
real.
say it, man, but it's real. It's real. I always kind of say the truth when I'm on stage, because I think that when it comes from the heart, it's more real, more efficient.
And it's interesting because you've got like Edgar Yves. It's like you're from Benin.
Yeah, Benin.
Benin.
Little country in West Africa, but I'm French too, which means I don't need to fuck an old white girl to stay here, like many of my black friends. Please keep me there.
Femme de ma visa.
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't need that.
Okay.
I still have the ID, so I don't need to fuck an old white girl.
Oh, you can get young also.
Well, I appreciate young, not older one.
It's very interesting because I was in the gay pride. I'm not gay, but I was in the gay pride, and there was a
You can.
oh.
Why not?
Why not?
No. But you're not.
Yes, and I saw the poster. I saw a placard, Adam and Steve.
Adam and Steve.
Yeah, and I said in France you can just have Adam and Eve. Eve is a name which can be Eve like a girl Eve, and Eve is a boy Eve.
Edgar Yves is in French we say prénom composé. Prénom composé, so it means there is two first name which makes one
Names.
first name.
Names.
Voilà. Two names which makes one name. So we call it prénom composé in French. So that's what Edgar Yves is.
And your last name is not Composé.
No, my last name is just my last name. But it's a kind of rare Edgar Yves. There's only my father with that name. So I really appreciate you wear it more easily at 32 years old than 8 years old. Because it's a kind of old name, Edgar Yves. It's like when you say Jacques or Jackie, people immediately think that you old.
Okay.
So you wear it better at my age now.
So the older you get, the more name suits you.
Exactly.
Perfect.
The older you get, the more the name suits you. Exactly. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay. So your father is a politician in Benin.
In Benin.
Benin.
Yeah.
And how big is Benin?
Not very big. It's a little country in West Africa, and the surface is something like 112,622 km² in French. So in English it's
100,000.
voilà. So it's 100,000 kilometers. So it's not really big.
It's
in
like
fact,
Ile-de-France is bigger than Ile-de-France.
barely.
Really?
So it's a really little country in West Africa. Not really rich, really poor, with political trouble as well. But it's a case in all the area.
You grew up in Africa.
Yeah.
When
I
did
grew
you
up
come?
in Africa and in France too, and I have some jokes on Africa because it seems important to be more precise when you talk about Africa, because I think there is a kind of misunderstanding here about Africa. People don't really know it. They have a lot of cliche in the mind, and I use my jokes to undo. I don't know how you will say that. Yes, to undo that cliche.
And to educate.
Yes, and to educate people. That's what laugh is made for me.
Laughter.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
That's the purpose. I mean, I don't only get on stage to make people laugh, only get on stage to make people understand more things, and sometimes realize that they were wrong. The way they were thinking wasn't obviously the good one.
And you started as a law student. You studied law.
Yes, I started law because my father is a lawyer. My father is a lawyer, so I was planning to do the same thing, and finally I realized that it was kind of boring. So I started drinking with my friends. We were students, so we do a lot of parties, and finally I decided to become a stand-up comedian.
Wow. So it is. How many years have you been doing this?
I've been student for 4 years. 4 years.
No, how stand-up comedy.
Oh, it's been 6 years, 6 or 7 years from now. I don't know precisely, but I think it's 6 or 7 year. Yeah, it's been a while. It's a hard task. It's a hard job. There's a lot of frustration. You need to work hard because there's some other guys that are really good too. So you always need to improve yourself. You need to be courageous to fight for what you wanna have. I mean, in this game, when you want something, you have to go get it. So it's kind of difficult, and it takes time. It takes time. It takes time to become good. It takes time to become good. It takes time to do it properly, because any job you're trying to do, you have to learn it first. So 6 years is the time I took to learn it and to get at a good level now. Now I'm proud of my level. I think I still need to improve myself, but I think I'm at I don't know how you say respectable. I'm at a
Respectable.
respectable level now. It wasn't the case before, because when you start this thing, first of all, you just try to talk about what you know. So I was talking about my parents. I was talking about African things like
Clichés.
Yes, cliches like African get some great dicks, big dicks. So I was trying to fight that. I was talking about that, and now my stand-up talks more about society, subject of society, about what we really live, about the gilets jaunes, about the president, about the politician, about their
Politicians.
you yes, correct me, because I still need to improve it. So I will learn.
I mean, you're African. Why do you make French mistakes of French people?
Don't know. Maybe because Benin is a former French colony.
So they colonized even the mistakes.
Even the mistakes, we learned everything from them.
Yeah, it's very interesting to talk about colonization, because that's one of my interesting themes which I work on in my stand-up. And I think I saw some of your chronique on Rire et Chanson.
Yeah.
And it's a very different type of format in France, that you come on a radio and you read a text. So that's quite interesting how it happens in France.
Because how is it for you?
I mean, in America, I follow American comedy, and I have not seen on radio, because I've seen many of the comedians, they go on radio in one of these shows and they read a text. I've never seen that in America.
Okay.
But it's interesting. I mean, I think the French people, they love text.
Yeah.
And I think you have a little bit of poetry in your work. You are a little poetic.
Yes, because I've learned French, and I haven't learned French talking. I've learned French writing, learning the grammatical words. I don't know how you say conjugations. This is how I learn it. So oftenly, the African guys speak a more precious French, a more good French than better French than the French, because they learn it talking, and we learn it writing. So we have a more vocabulary, more. I mean, it's more precious. I'm not trying to say that it's better. I'm trying that it's more precious. I mean, it's. Don't know how to say it more precisely.
Flowery.
Yes, there is a kind of music when we talk, and this is how we learned it. This is how we learned it, and this is what I'm trying to do. And you're right. There is really a culture of writing here, because you are in France, so it's the country of the Lumière, Victor Hugo, Baudelaire, a lot of poetry, a lot of
Philosophers.
yeah, a lot of philosophers. There is a culture of theater here, so we're not really the same as United States. We're not really the same. I mean, I would say that the culture over there is more vocal. I mean, since you born, since the beginning, you learn how to entertain, how to sing, how to move with your body. That's how they go to. That's how you get someone like Jimmy Fallon. Okay, but it's not really the same thing in France. In France, you really you learn grammatical. You learn about the philosopher, about the story of the country. There is a real culture of writing here, so it's not really the same. I'm trying to avoid that because I think that when it's always written, it loses some fluidity.
I think stand-up is an oral culture.
Yeah.
And I look at some of the French stand-ups, and as you said, it's very flowery. Not flowery, maybe it's very, very literal.
Yes.
Literary.
Yes.
Literary.
Yes, and I've been talking about this with a friend of mine, who do some stand-up too.
Who does?
Who does some stand-up too, and we arrived to that conclusion because and we realize by practicing that stand-up is an oral art, because at the beginning I was writing my text, and one day I was trying to write an idea, and I didn't get my how you call it, carnet
book.
I didn't get my book on me, so I took my cell phone, and I used the dictaphone to catch, and so that I could remember later. And I realized when I was listening to the idea, to what I was what I've recorded, that it was more fluid, as we were saying, because when you have an idea, when you say it, with your mouth at the phone, you say it just like you will say it when you are on stage, and when you write it, it loses some fluidity. It loses some fluidity. It's not fluid anymore. It's more
literary.
Exactly. So we came to that conclusion, and since that day, I haven't written any idea anymore.
So that's why I sent you a message, and you sent me a message on Instagram.
Yeah, because I'm used to it now.
And that is so nice, because I find it like I'm a little bit scared of recording my voice in that way. But it's a good way of doing it. It's so simple. Why you want to waste?
It's a good way to do it, because when you say it through the phone, you say it just like you will say it on stage. So it's the same idea. It's just like you were doing your stand-up in front of people, except that there is no one in the place. But I think it's more clever to write like that. I think it's more clever because it's closer to the way you will say it on stage. And it's not the case when you write the idea. It's really not the case. It's more literally, as you say. It's more literally and
literary.
Literary.
Yes.
In French, we say littéraire.
Yes. It's with a Y.
Yes, it's more literary. It's more literary, and a literary sentences are more are less useful on stage, because you lose some rhythm. You lose some rhythm, and jokes are all about rhythm. So if you want to keep a real rhythm and to have a real talk, you have to record it before write the text. I only write the text when my stand-up is ready. I work on it day by day after day, and when I think that it's ready, Then I wrote it and I put it in my computer. Never before. It took time to realize that. It took time because
it takes time.
It takes time to realize that because we're not the same culture. The stand up has been here for only 10 or 15 years, and it's about a long time in the United States. So we are still learning. We're still improving ourselves, and so we realize things like that by practicing, by training.
I learned French in India, and I came here and I lost interest in French. I mean, and then now I'm listening to stand up in French, and I'm getting the interest back because it's more alive, because it's really alive. And I heard an expression you said, "Je m'en pète." Je m'en pète.
Je m'en bats.
Je m'en bats.
Je m'en bats les couilles.
But je m'en pète.
Je m'en pète?
No, it doesn't exist. Je pète ou quelque chose. Something like that. Okay.
No. Okay. I'm happy to see you making mistake too.
Good. I'm happy that you said
1-0.
Make mistakes. Make mistakes.
Make mistakes.
Yeah, because some people say do mistakes.
No, make.
Plus, it's very interesting to hear new expressions and the way, and it's very oral, and it's when the real French has got more interest to me than the old French, which has its own value to learn and to practice it and to use it for your lettres recommandées.
Yes, we a new generation, and we're trying to separate ourselves from that because we think it's not really useful. And the problem is, friends, that people usually really, I don't know how you say conservateur. They like to keep their attitude. They like to keep it. They're afraid about change. Like change is the enemy. And we are a new generation. We're not afraid of change. And when we think it's better, we just do it. We don't really think about it or consequences. We just do it. And that's why stand-up is really getting better in France, because we have Netflix. We all watch Louis C.K., Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, Jerry Seinfeld, Ricky Gervais, and we realize that all that those amazing stand-uppers have in common is that they are really freed. It feels like they are talking to you. It feels like the only thing you're missing when you're listening at them is
listening to them.
Listening to them is a drink of beer, is a glass of beer, and that friendly mood, friendly feeling. They succeed on create a good climat. How you say climat?
Climate.
Yes, they create a good climate. I mean, the real stand-up is before everything the ability to create a good climate for me. You have to create a good climate in the how do you say
in the room.
In the room. You have to create a good climate in the room. This is the first ability you have to learn when you want to do stand-up. To me, is the most important thing. You have to put people in the good mood very quickly. Dave Chappelle have the ability to do that so quickly. It's very impressive. He come on stage and just 3 sentences later, the crowd went crazy. It's amazing. They have a really great ability on that. That's what we're trying to learn. We're trying to be ourselves. We're trying to be cool. We're trying to put a good climate in the room, because I think it starts from there. And then you can say what you have to say. People have to feel that they're talking to a friend. They have to have that feeling. That guy is cool. I'm good with him. Just give me a glass of wine. I'm fine. I want to listen to that guy.
Listen to
that guy. Sorry.
That's good. That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's my philosophy, because I mean, to be a great stand-upper is
stand-upper is French. Stand-up comedian.
Yeah, sorry. It's French. Sorry. To be a great stand-up comedian, because me, it's my purpose. I really want to be good at it. I'm really passionate. I really love it. So I took a lot of time to learn the philosophy of the stand-up, to listen to great stand-uppers, and to see how they do their things, to learn the techniques. And I realized that the techniques are one thing, but create a good climate in the room is another thing. So to do that, you have to work on you. You have to work on who you are. You have to work on how you say things. This is really important. You have to think about it. There is so many stand-up comedians still now in France that you can listen to that didn't realize that yet. So they can have good idea, they can have good technique, but they are missing something and they still don't know what yet. But they will come to this. I mean, by practicing, by learning on themselves, I think they will come to it.
So for you to create a good ambience, create a good climate,
yeah,
you have to be a good person.
Not obviously, because you can create a good good ambience in the room. You can make a crowd go crazy with different type of energies. It's not only joy. You can also be disappointed. You can disappointing. I mean, when you're listening to, I don't know his name, but his entrance was amazing. The guy came, great music in the room, then silence, something like 10 or 15 seconds, and the guy said, "I want to fuck Michelle Obama." Then the crowd went crazy, you know. So it's not only about good intention, only about good vibes. It's about to be real. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're feeling right now, but get on stage with it. That's the point. It could be any emotion. It could be sadness. It could be joy. It could be anger. It could be many things. But just do something about it. Use your joy, use your sadness, use your anger to entertain people. If you because you know we human, we are humans, so we don't have the same feeling every day. You know, someday you're sad, someday you feel good, you feel happy, and someday you are angry because you didn't get that job, didn't get that opportunity, didn't get that shit. Your girlfriend left. So there is many reasons. But as a comedian, the first thing we learn, I mean, if you have one magic power, it's to draw from it, is to use it and to make something about it. So when you get on that stage, when you get on that, I don't know how you say maîtrise.
Mastery.
Yes, when you get on that mastery, you are an amazing stand-upper. When you learn how to use your feelings to entertain people, this is the level that all those great stand-uppers are get to. They are just amazing, because it's really difficult to do that. That's why I'm still learning to do. That's why I'm practicing every day, because I know that this is the point. This is the difference between amazing stand-up comedian and just we say amuseur in French.
Yeah.
Say
dilettante.
Yeah, we say amuseur.
Okay.
There is a difference between a great entertainer and animateur de
hobby.
banquet.
He's doing a hobby.
Well, yes, voilà. That's the difference, because you have to come at that mastery to learn how to draw from your emotions, whatever they are, and use it to entertain the crowd. So it's not only about joy, or
okay.
You don't not only have to be positive. You just have to learn how to use what you feel at the moment to entertain the people.
Yeah, it's huge. It's more complicated than it looks, because it looks like it's a very easy entry, because you don't need anything. I mean, like, if you want to make a film, if you want to be an actor, you have to pass auditions, you have so many things. But to become a stand-up comedian, it looks like it's a very easy entry. You just go there and...
Yeah, many people think that, and many people break themselves on the stage. I don't know how you say it. In France, we say, in French, we say, il a pris un bide, il a brûlé.
Bomb.
Bomb. Voilà, bomb on the stage. Because it's not easy. It's about charisma. It's about learning more about yourself. It's about, in French, I say, because it's a really precise word, it's really important for me, QI spectacle. QI spectacle, quotient intellectuel. So quotient intellectuel, QI means how can I say it in English? The way you understand what you do is what we call the QI. The QI. C'est something, le quotient intellectuel, le QI spectacle, in English would be the way you understand a crowd grows. Okay? It grows every time you get on stage, every time you're practicing. The way you understand a crowd grows. And when you come at a certain level of mastery, no matter what, no matter when, no matter what the crowd feels, you have that crazy ability of make people laugh in you because you learn it through the past years. You've been practicing like a dog, and now people. There is a misunderstanding between talent and how do you say competence?
Skill.
There is a really misunderstanding between talent and
misunderstanding.
There is a really misunderstanding between talent and skill. I mean, talent you have naturally. Thing you only get it after hours and hours and hours of beating on your crap. Okay, so there is a really difference between those two elements, and the sooner you learn it, the sooner you get better. It's really important. You have to. It's about getting you. It's about being you
yourself.
Yeah, it's about being yourself as fast as possible, because when you will get there, then you will be good, really good. Because the people won't feel the difference between the guy they were drinking a beer with before and the man they are seeing now on stage. You're not supposed to be different. You are not supposed to be different. You're supposed to be you. Because when you're different, when you are pretending, when you are pretending, when you are playing comedian, the crowds sense it. And so it's kind of fake, in fact.
So basically you have to peel off layers and to get to the real person.
Yes.
Because it's like we have so much social conditioning.
Yeah, and we start pretending. It's not an easy task. We're talking about getting on stage, take a microphone, and pretend to make people laugh. It's not easy to do that. So, of course, we all start pretending. We all hide behind security. How can I say it in English? We say béquille in French.
Crutches.
Yes, we all use. We all get our own crutches when we start this shit, because it's fucking difficult, man. It's not easy. We're talking about taking a microphone, get on stage, and pretend to make people laugh. It's really not easy. So we all start pretending. We all start imitating other stand-up comedian before us. That's how you start, because you need some references. So this is how you start. So this is the crushes I'm talking about, because you need to start. You cannot start on your own way. Very few people do that. Like, we're talking about genius here. Are you listening what I'm saying? So you understand what I'm saying? We all use crushes to start. And so the point when you start stand-up is to avoid
using crutches.
Yes, anymore, as fast as possible.
And basically, it's like you have to be vulnerable. Like, you have to leave the crutches, and you have to be ready to fail. And this is one thing in stand-up, which is I think very interesting. The ability to be able to fail.
Yes, to fail. In France, we say lâcher prise. Lâcher prise. Let it go. To let it go. When you let it go, when any kind of feeling comes on stage and you're capable to embrace it and to use it, then you're good. You have to let it go. You have to stop thinking. You don't need the human part on stage. You need the animal. You need your instinct to do that. You don't need to think anymore. You have to feel. You have to feel. And because feel is also a way to understand things. It's not a bad way, it's a great way too. The feelings. You have to use your feelings when you're stage. That's why I'm saying you need the animal. You don't need the human part. The human is thinking too much. All you need is your feelings, your instincts, and how to draw from it. That's what you need on stage. To me.
It's very interesting. You said about there's a talent, there are skills.
Yeah. Let's take basketball as an example because it's a great sport. I really like it. I always watch the playoffs, like LeBron James. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Great man, really great man. Let's take those guys for example. They are great men because they shine far more. I mean, we're not talking about sports anymore. We're talking about mentality. People used to say Mamba mentality because the men always fight, the men always train, the men always try to improve himself. And so he has been inspiring people for many years. That's why we feel his death has a great loss. Because only few people do that. Only few people dedicate ourselves like that. So it's really impressive, and we have to. We don't have to behave like he was nothing. It's amazing. You know, someone who do that 20 years in the NBA, always trying to do better, get in the rape scandal and still put 60 points the same night. We're talking about great guys here, and this is the kind of mental you need when you're doing what we do in stand-up. So they're really inspiring people. And to come back to what we were saying, talents you have naturally. So when we took the example of basketball, you can be a good shooter, but if you don't practice, your talents will how you say ça, va te perdre, will lose you one day, you know. There are great moments in the NBA. I remember a final when LeBron James was with Chris Bosh and Ray Allen. They were playing against San Antonio. When Ray Allen is among the greatest shooter in the history of the NBA, and they were playing against San Antonio. It was the last match of the finals. The man was in the corner. Chris Bosh took the ball in defenses, passed it to LeBron James. LeBron James passed it to Ray Allen, and Ray Allen shoot. It was we call it the shot in the history. It was an amazing shot, and the journalist came after and asked him about this shot, and he said, "I took that shot all my life." So he's been doing these shots all his life. He's been practicing this shit all his life. So for everyone, it was a great moment, but for him, he just needed to do the same shit he was doing every day. That's why practicing is about. When you do stand up every time, when you get on stage every time, there's nothing to be fear about. There's nothing. You've been doing this shit all your life. So what are you afraid about? There's no reason to be afraid. You've been practicing, so you can trust yourself. You can trust your feelings, because your feelings and yourself is based on the practicing you've been doing all your fucking life. This is what skills is about. That there's a real difference between that, because someone talented at that moment, someone only talented at that moment would have taken the pressure and missed the shot. He's been practicing. He's been dedicated. He's been trying to improve that shot every day, and he forced himself to do that shot under pressure. Under pressure. That was the difference, because he gets used to shot under pressure. That's the difference between talent and skill. You take a great shooter, you put him in the same situation, he will miss the shot. Because of the pressure, because of the crowd, because of the moment, because of the situation, the momentum. So you miss the shot. Of course. That's what practicing is about. That's what skill is about. There's a misunderstanding again between talent and skills. Talent you have naturally. Skills, you only get it after hours and hours and hours of beating on your craft.
And what about the writing. So I mean, what you do, it's like the stage time. That's what is practice.
Yeah.
And then you have time which you are alone, which you, I don't know how you write, how you create.
Well, I use my life. I use the people I met. I use my feelings. I use what I think about. I mean, my right now my stand up is really social. No, I don't really like to talk about myself. When I talk about myself, is only to make a point. Just as I was doing it in the sketches, La Corruption that you saw, we were talking about. I only
Can you translate it in English?
Yeah. My father is a politician, African politician, and when you're an African politician's sons in French, people systematically think that your father took the money of the states, and so I said, just say it is a kind of insult for me, because it's true. We're really good at stealing money. We're really good at it.
Stealing money.
We are at stealing money. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't care, because corruption for me is the only area where white men say to black men, please, apprends-moi. Teach me. Please teach me. Teach me. And I also say that my father was used to it. And since I have the same name, I'm Edgar Yves too, and my name is Edgar Yves Monou, and my father is Edgar Yves Monou. So where I was at school, there was a lot of rumor that I heard in the couloir.
Corridors.
In the corridors, his father took this shit. His father is stealing that. So I came to my father's office and I say, "Hey, Dad, stop corruption. I'm sick of it." And 2 minutes later, I came out with a new PlayStation, brand new.
Your father is good.
Yeah, so I changed my mind. When people say your father is a thief, yeah, but you don't have FIFA, my friend. So that's what that stand up is about. So as you can see, when I talk about me, it's always to make a point. We're living in a crazy world. We're living in a crazy society. The politicians are really making many shit on us.
But I disagree that black politicians are better than white politicians.
I think better. I mean,
in corruption,
at stealing, in corruption.
I don't think so.
And I think in fact the point is not to say that they are better. The right word is that they are more impressive, and I will explain my points. Here, when they steal in France, they're still trying to justify it. They're still trying to hide it. Not in Africa anymore. I have a story for you about that. You know Vincent Bolloré. Vincent Bolloré is a rich man. I've been learning this for a while because I have a new I will have a new show at the à la rentrée.
In the new school year.
Yeah, at the beginning of the next season, I will come with a new show, and it will be about it. So it's really my subject right now. I've been learning this for a while. Vincent Bolloré is among the richest men of the country. So he's among.
He's from which country?
France.
Okay.
Yes. He's among the richest men of the country, and he's among the 10 guys that own France for me. Because of the money.
What brand is it? I mean, LVMH? No,
LVMH is Bernard Arnault.
Okay.
Bernard Arnault,
okay.
Which is also among that group. There is 10 very rich men that own France for me.
So which brand he owns? I mean, which companies, which industries?
Oh, Vincent Bolloré is let me remember. He owns Canal Plus.
Okay.
He's in the automobile. He's in many areas. The point is that he comes from a rich family. He was rich since he's born, and he's richer then. He's richer now. But the point is, he get richer by taking control.
He got richer.
He got richer by taking control of the port d'Afrique de l'Ouest, where ports, okay, by taking control of all the ports in West Africa, by giving money to the president with corruption, by helping them with their campaign, and when they get president, they give him a port. A port. We say récompense. How do you say récompense? It's a word when you help me, I
scratch your back.
Voilà, I scratch your back. So the way they scratch his back is to give him the port, okay? And recently he obtained the port of Guinea, also a country in Africa, and so by sponsoring the president's campaign, and then when he got elected, he gave him the ports. So there's been an international scandal, and the paper Le Monde, journal Le Monde, came there and asked the president, freshly elected, Alpha Condé, if there's been malversation, there's been corruption, there's been okay, and the man said, well, Vincent Bolloré is a friend, and it's normal to me to help a friend. That's all. The man is not even trying to lie. You understand? He's not even trying to lie. Are you a thief? Yeah. What we do now? Don't know. Want a glass of water?
No, but it's
that's why I say we are better. We are more impressive. They're not trying to lie anymore. They're not trying to lie.
They're not trying to lie. It's one thing, but I think you cannot beat white people at corruption. This is, like colonization. I come from India, and we were colonized by the British, and the British were so amazing at this thing that they changed the rules of world economy. They in fact made the economy, and then the Americans took it over. They created the rules of the world we live in so that it benefits them.
Yeah.
So the level of corruption the white people from the siècle des Lumières did, you cannot undo that so easily.
Yeah.
So
you cannot match them so
yeah,
easily.
So our president from Guinea, he's like playing with peanuts.
Yes, of course.
I mean,
compared to them,
yes.
Compared to that, I agree. I totally agree on that. What I was trying to say in my stand-up is just that I was trying to say two things. My way is the provocation. I like that. I really like that. I really like to make people. I really like when a crowd go crazy. So I provocate a lot. That's what I was doing when I said that my father was a politician and that I don't care. Yeah, we earn a lot of money. The point I was trying to make is that we are corrupted too in Africa. There is a way to corrupt us because we are corrupted.
Everybody's corrupt.
We are corrupted. So we are corrupted. That's what I was trying to say in my stand-up, because it's really important. It's not always about the white man that came and took all the resources. It's also about the black man, which is corrupted, and because he's corrupt, there is a possibility for the white man to do so. Okay?
No, of course, I agree with you. And I like that point because it's not just one-sided.
Yes.
You are both sides responsible.
Yes.
If you were colonized, half of the problem is yours.
Yes, of course.
And this is something which people don't like to hear.
Yes. And that's why I was trying to say
that
this.
I agree with you.
Because it's important. It's not always about the white man, the big bad white man. No. The black man is corrupted too, and we have to say it.
No, that is for sure. And this is one thing which I've not heard many black people say that.
Yeah. This is why the video of the stand-up works a lot on Facebook, because one more time I was talking from the heart and I was trying to say the truth without taking any side. I was just trying to analyze a situation precisely and to give my point of view on it. That's what I was just trying to do, like a comedian, so by provocating, of course, and so and so.
But even then, like if I go to a deeper level, the how it is rigged, rigged is like truqué. How the whole system is truqué.
Yeah.
Is like the system which we are working in.
Yeah.
It is so corrupt, and the corruption benefits the countries which are not
Yeah,
us.
it's not only about corruption, colonization. Of course, colonization is what is an amazing shit, because there is as you said before, and I fully agree on it. They create their own rules. They create a world which only benefits to them, and we're still living in that world. Let's take, for example, the franc CFA. No, franc CFA, African money. They changed it. They changed the name. They're trying to call it ECHO now. But behind this, there is still a corrupted president, Alassane Ouattara, who is working for Emmanuel Macron, who is taking Ivory Coast resources. They have woods, they have cacao, chocolate, which they are fully providing France, and that is really amazing. We have to change the whole world if you want to have a chance.
I think the economic aspect which you are saying, it's obvious.
Yes.
But what is even more sinister is they have corrupted. They have done this in the education system.
Yeah.
And the whole education system is created to make white men. Even if you are brown or black or anything, they want to make you think like white men.
Yeah.
So finally, you will always be a second-class white man.
Yeah, but it's not working anymore, as you can see right now in the world we are living in. It's not working anymore. Let me tell you why. Because now we have internet, so we have many people that can give many kind of point of view on internet. You can do some researches. You can learn from yourself. You can provide your own information, so you can create your own state of mind. It's possible to do that. If you don't have your own state of mind in the world we are living, it's your fault.
Of course.
Because you didn't search, you didn't try to learn, you just took the information as like they were given to you. Okay, it's your duty when you have an information to search from it, to say, okay, I'm a see someone else, I'm a listen to someone else, and I will make a matchup. Or you make a matchup of it, or you make my own point of view. Okay, it's really important. Right now, we can see, and many people are able to see now, the limits of the Occidental system, of the European system. And as we see those limits, we are making a kind of how do you say, repli. We
are closing ourselves.
We are going
backwards
to yes, we are going back to our culture, to who you are, because
that's a good thing.
That system, and it's a very good thing. In French, we say repli identitaire.
This whole identity, how it is framed when cultures go back to their own roots, how it is framed in the Western media and in the education, which is totally Western, and it is. The education which is in the world, it is to benefit Western people. It is not to benefit anybody else, and it is basically to destroy the planet.
Yes, but it's not the case anymore. People are really trying to take their own path, to take their own way, and this is a good thing. It's not well seen here now, and it's normal, because we don't want it anymore. So if you are angry, we don't care. We don't give a shit.
That's the problem, because in India there's a whole they call it right wing, but there is a lot of things behind the government which is happening. But in the Western media, and even in any media which is in English or which you write with Roman letters, you always say, oh, they are becoming nationalistic.
No.
They are trying to become
Indian again. They're not nationalistic, as you say, and let them say that. We don't care, because we do as we want. We do as we want, and I think it's a good thing. I think it's a really good thing. Now the world is changing. It will take, I think, still many years, but I think we are on our way now. I really believe in it. It's not hopeless. No, it's not hopeless. It's not like that. There's been a lot of shits, and we're trying to repair them, and we're trying to go find the best version of ourselves. We're trying to embrace our former culture, and we're trying to go back to our true identity. And I think it's a good thing, and that we should encourage that.
Yeah, I mean, we have, like, I mean, African cultures, they have their own wisdom.
Yes.
They have lived for millions of years.
Yes, of course.
And that wisdom, it's called voodoo, and it's called this and that.
Well, yeah, because the arguments, because they need some argument at the time. The argument at the time to do slavery or colonization, it was
Civilizing Mission.
It was that we were not civilized. That we were it's completely not true, because the African culture was a noble culture, and because we learn around the fire with I don't know how you say griot in how you say griot in English. We call it a griot in Africa. Those guys who
tell the stories.
Who tell the stories around the fire. They were singing stories, and that's how the child learned. Around the fire with the elder one. They were telling story, they were dancing, they were singing to how do you say transmit to transmit, yes, to transmit the knowledge. Yeah, that's the correct word, to transmit the knowledge. It was a oral culture, not a writing one. But since they wasn't able to sew it, they decided that we were animals, and that's not the case. And we are clever enough to understand this now. And since we are seeing the limits of the European system. I mean, look at the European society now. Look at it, man. Look at it.
I mean,
you can barely keep a wife all your life, because since they are free, apparently they have the right to do anything. They have the right to fuck the neighbor, to go when they want to go. They are losing for one reason. They are losing because they don't accept la contrainte. How do you say contrainte?
Constraints.
Yes, they don't accept it anymore. And sometimes to obtain something better, you have to pass through this.
No, it's like you want to play tennis. You remove the net, you remove all the lines, and what will you do?
What we do now? I was talking about it with a friend of mine, because it's a really important subject for me, and my next show will be about it. Will be about that repli identitaire.
This is very interesting, because I just saw in Libération today, the headline is India is moving towards Hitler, nationalistic Hitler. I mean, India was the biggest democratic exercise. Yeah. India is not a country. I mean, I asked this question to brag, like what is the population of Benin?
Benin is.
What is the population? How many people?
6 million.
6 million.
Maybe
so like
10 million.
Bombay is like 20 million, 25 million.
Yeah.
So it's like India is not a country. It's like a civilization. It's got.
Yes, of course.
It's like the whole European Union.
Of course.
So you cannot, and so many people, they democratically voted. You have, I don't know how many, 800. I don't know the numbers exactly, but it's about 800 million or 500 million. I mean, we'll put it in the comments. Somebody will put it in the comments.
Yeah.
So many people voted to elect this government.
Yeah.
And these people are saying, oh, we are becoming nationalistic and we are becoming Hitler.
Yeah, but they are doing as they always did. So we're not supposed to care about them. We're not supposed to care about what they're saying. They're saying this because they're losing and then don't really like it. I can understand, but we don't really care. And we're not supposed to, We're not supposed to. We're supposed to do what we need to do, what we have to do. We're supposed to go back to our own culture, because we don't want your culture anymore. We don't want your habits. We don't share.
Not everything. I mean, there are
not
some
everything.
things.
There are good things,
Yes.
but there are some limits that we can that we have to talk about. It's because it's necessary. There is a way to see things that we don't share, because this is not our culture.
It's not. It's like we are in a hybrid culture, so we cannot throw the baby with the bathwater.
Yeah.
So like we have our babies.
Yes.
Africa has its babies.
Yes.
India has its babies.
Yes.
I mean, we are not going to throw everything and become totally westernized. That's what the British tried to do to India.
Yes,
They wanted to destroy the Indian education.
of course, and they tried to did the same thing in Africa. They wanted to destroy the African culture, but they missed. So it didn't work. And you know why is it not working now? The main point is because we are seeing the limits of the European system now. It's obvious. We can see it. You can see it on an economic plan. You can see how people live here, how the politician treats the people, how people are angry. Yes, how people are angry, how people are contesting every time.
But I think in Africa, you're seeing it more clearly. In India, there's still a little bit of romance towards the West.
Okay. In Africa, it's different.
It's very clear.
Yes,
I think for
in
you,
Africa, it's very clear for us. It's very clear for us that we don't want that example anymore. We don't want to follow the rules anymore. We want to create our own path, our own way, and no matter what it costs.
no, you will make mistakes, but you will learn from that. It's your history.
Yeah, I will make mistake, but I will take my own decision, which is the more important point for me, man. Who are you to decide for me?
No, it's like, oh, you are becoming nationalistic. You are going to
Yes,
become
cool.
Hitler.
Yes,
You are
cool.
becoming Hitler.
Yes, I
No,
agree.
that's
Thank
your
you.
mistake. You
Yes.
made that mistake.
Yes.
No, we are not going to make that mistake.
Yes,
We know
yes.
that mistake. We will do our own thing.
Yes.
We may have some problems,
Yes.
but we will learn from it.
Yes. We will make, in French, we say, c'est moi qui fais mes choix, que ce soit les bons ou pas. Okay? I made my own decision whether there are good choices or not. Okay, and I don't need your point of view. You can give me some advice, but then it's my freedom to take it or not, and you have to respect that because you are no one to tell me how what I'm supposed to do in my own life.
I think now there is, like in the media, there is a way of saying we don't respect your choices. Like even Trump being elected, or Brexit happening.
Yeah.
It's also a decision of the people.
Yeah.
And you have to respect it.
Of course.
And that is, I don't agree with Trump. I don't agree with many things which British people are doing. But if you have a country based on democracy and based on, if they elect people, you have to accept that.
Of course, you have to respect. You can give a point of view on Trump. You can disagree with him. Why not? But you have to respect the choice of American people because he got elected.
But there is like a part of the education media, like this kind of a combination. I think some people in power, they are threatened by this kind of...
media is also another problem, and I will talk about it in my next show because it's a real problem. There is I identify a few points, but few important points. First of all, the 10 guys I was talking about, the 10 richest men in the country, which own the country, in fact, and since generations, they own the media. The media are not neutral anymore. Here in France, the media are not neutral. Let's talk about it. I mean, each of these 10 guys own a paper, owns a radio chain, and owns a TV. So they have an impact on what you are reading, what you are listening to, or what you are watching on TV. So tell me about neutrality now.
Libération, for example, it's a left newspaper, left side newspaper, left leaning.
Yes.
Is it owned by one of these people?
Of course. I don't remember the name. I think Libération. We can find it on internet. It's really
so it's basically these elite moguls. These are using the left-leaning ideology, which is completely against what they are, for entertaining a group of people.
Yes, this is how they own France. Let me explain to you, because when you own a media, when you own a radio, when you own a TV, when you own a newspaper, it's not bringing you money. You're not earning money with it. There is no money in it. So please explain to me why a businessman, someone so clever, so good in the business, will buy something like that since it's not making money. Because you're not buying it to make money. You're buying it to get influence. You see the difference? Because when you own the media, you own the politics. Because
politicians,
the politicians, because you can boost their image or you can destroy it. Okay, let's look at François Hollande. It's really difficult to be re-elected when your image has been so destructed between your how do you say mandat, during your reign, if you let's say it like that.
Let me remember the word. It's during your term.
During your term, it's really difficult to be re-elected. And the election of Emmanuel Macron in France is the proof that there is a system, and it's a proof that it's working. A good campaign is not a good speech in front of the people. A good campaign in French is a well-made diner with one of those 10 guys, because if they acknowledge you, they will boost your image and they will take you to the presidency, and then you will have to give them what you've been promising to obtain the post. So it's I mean, one of the great problem we have now in France is the media. We have to learn how to take this power back, because it's really important for us. The press is not you cannot compare it to the English one, for example. Because it's not they are more neutral, they are more free. It's maybe, I don't know. Not my country.
In America, I mean, I'm looking at American press. It's not very free.
Yeah. In France, it's really not. It's really not. They use it. They use it as a way to break people, as a way to break rebellion. Let's look at the Gilets jaunes. Gilets jaunes was a really good thing. The people which were the people that were sick of the way their leaders were behaving.
No, it's you're right about the control of the
about
press.
The control of the press. It's a really important thing. We have to fight against that. That's one of my points. The second point is the politician, their privilege. We really need to fight about it. We have to destroy the privilege.
I think it's. I don't think it's about. I mean, my understanding is to destroy something. It is like. I mean, it's a decolonizing in another level.
Yeah.
So you have other ways of going around these problems, and I don't know about Gilets jaunes very much.
Yeah.
But I think there is a way of doing it which is more smart and more clever than frontal affrontation.
Yes, and the problem with the Gilets jaunes is that they destroy the image in the media. I've been hearing people say they are violent, they break this, they break that. Come on, man. They're fighting for us. And you're not with them because you're too afraid to do so. Okay? So you should at least support them in your canapé. I don't know how you say, in your chair. Okay? We call it militant de salon. Okay? You say that you're not happy from your chair, so you're not fighting at all. Okay? So at least we can support them.
I understand they have problems. They have real problems, and they're suffering.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we are lucky to be educated, and we are lucky to have a good this thing, but some people have a difficult life.
Yes, I mean, difficult life. It's really difficult. People they have really many difficulties to eat, many difficulties to buy what they want to buy. They're not living a good life because of the system we create here. Yes. Because of the system we create, since you're born, you are teaching how to have a simple job, how to make some credits, to have a wife, to have a car and a dog, and this is okay. You do so all your life. People wait for the weekend to drink a lot so as they feel good again. For those who have the money, they go on the snow. One time in the winter, they go on the sea one time in the summer, and when they are back from their holidays, they go from the same shit again, and that lasts 50 years. And whoa, what I've been doing with my life? Yeah, you have been doing shit, bro.
Thank you so much, Edgar, for this political digression. Yeah. I felt that I will go into politics with you today, because I mean I saw that you do chronique, you talk about politics in the news, so I thought there was something in there So I'm happy that came out.
Yeah.
And but now I want to talk about English.
Yes.
So from what I heard, I think you are between. I think you are between B1 and B2. I think I would say, let's say you're B1, because that way if you work from B1 you can become a solid B2.
Is it a note?
It's not a grade. It's just a level of progression.
Okay.
So I mean I'll
so C2 is the better one.
C2 is and then beyond C2 is the native speaker.
Okay.
So it's like this is just a way to go to the next level.
Okay.
And
so I'm a B1.
You are advanced B1.
Okay.
So let me just give you what is B1.
Okay.
So this is like a European level, European system for evaluating languages.
Okay.
It's just for fun.
Okay.
You can create short paragraphs, have some fluency but make numerous mistakes.
Yes.
You ask and answer questions in a practical situation.
Yeah.
You can participate in simple conversations about background and everyday life.
Yeah.
You can narrate past, present, and future with inconsistent accuracy.
Uh-huh.
You can describe with limited vocabulary and a lack of precision.
Yeah.
You can treat current events but with inconsistent accuracy and limited vocabulary.
Yeah.
You can be understood by a native speaker used to dealing with foreigners.
It's cool. I take it.
So this is like Norman Hosni. Norman Hosni.
Yeah,
so
C1?
Yeah, C1. I was impressed.
Ooh.
And then I will not name people who are here. So it's like
Who is B2, for instance?
B2. We had Harold Barbe.
Harold Barbe is B2?
He was...
Fuck! It sucks. Putain, I'm a big shit.